Meeting of the Environment Committee for Tuesday, March 13th, 2018 to order. First up is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second? We have a motion and a second. Harry, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Next up is the approval of the minutes for the February 27th, 2018 regular meeting of the Environment Committee. Are there any changes or corrections?
No, motion to approve.
We have a motion.
Support.
We have a second. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved as written. First up on our business agenda is 2018-35 Unified Budget Amendment Regular Carry Forward. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ned Smith, and I am the MCS Director of Finance and Revenue. And I'm joined by my wingman, Matt Selmeyer, who is, what is your title?
Business analyst.
Business analyst, but he has renamed himself Budget Master in John Atkins' retirement. So he's here to catch anything I miss. Before you today is business item 2018-35, which is a unified budget amendment for the carry forward. This will be heard by Management Committee tomorrow and by the broader council at its next meeting, which I believe is March 21st, Wednesday. In the first quarter of each year, we look back at projects from the prior year that were budgeted and started but not completed. We use an assigned purchase order as a requirement for carry forward requests and also set a minimum of $50,000 for each carry forward request. We then review the end of the year performance for that department to ensure that the requesting department underspent their budget by the amount of the carry forward request. For the 2018 budget, we have $4.7 million in carry forward requests from 2017. The main items from this carry forward include $2.5 million of targeted stormwater grants and $1 million for green infrastructure grants. Both of these are pass-through grants, meaning every dollar that we get is going to be spent and distributed out to the grant recipients. And this carry forward represents grant money that we have already received but have not dispersed. The revenue from these grants is already included in our reserve, and most of the work is on 2 to 3 year contracts with selected cities and organizations, and that is then paid at the end of the work. We also have $816,000 of carry forwards for software refreshes and new tools. These items all have purchase orders and had available department level budget capacity. So on the reserve side, our reserves are higher by these amounts in 2017, but will be drawn down in 2018 when the spending occurs. These were mostly delayed due to upfront process and requirements work taking longer than anticipated. They include a biological data tool for $250,000. This is a data portal for our water, chemistry, flow, and biological and other data. We have Wonderware, which is $216,000. This collects plant-operated data for permit recording. We have Hyper-V, which for $283,000. This was a server hardware to support our SQL service interface. And LifeRay, about $65,000. It's software that's going to share our I&I data with our communities through a community portal. We also have $298,000 for 4 Chevy Bolts. Bolts are the fully electric cars. We're very excited about those. And video conference equipment, as well as $114,000 for variable frequency drive install at Eagles Point. With each of these, we have ordered the equipment, but there were delays from the vendor or the manufacturer. In fact, the bolts specifically ran into weather-related shipping delays, and they have since been delivered, but in 2018, not 2017. And once again, on the reserve side, our reserves are higher on account of these expenditures not hitting 2017, but they will normalize when the money is spent in 2018. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I see from the agenda item that this is going to be on the March 28th agenda for the full council, just so everybody knows that it's not next week's, it's the week after.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any questions?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is 2018-70, request for public hearing on proposed for facility plan amendment for Minneapolis Interceptor Rehabilitation. Mr. Dents.
Madam Chair, committee members. This business item requests council to authorize a public hearing for the proposed amendment to the facility plan for the Minneapolis Interceptor Rehabilitation Project Phase 2, project number 8076. This is an image showing the project area. It extends from Minnehaha Parkway south to Trunk Highway 62. Generally, the alignment of the pipe follows Highway 55. You can see Coldwater Springs on the south end. You can see the park extends up to Minnehaha Parkway. Now, this amendment is being done for a few reasons. Originally, in the original recommendations, we proposed construction of a new regulator vault as well as a new 1M3444 tunnel. But this work required dewatering. This dewatering may impact flow to the Coldwater Spring. And state law prohibits this. Can't even have a temporary impact. It's strictly prohibited. So it caused us to go back to the drawing board. We've done hydraulic groundwater modeling and a lot of investigative work, and all of that predicted the possibility of a temporary impact. The proposed changes to the recommendations are on this slide. The original facility plan, like I said earlier, included new facilities for the regulator as well as the interceptor tunnel. And then the amended facility plan recommendations include these. Rehabilitated and refurbished regulator R4. We're going to refurbish the existing vault. Rehabilitated 1M344 tunnel. We're going, instead of building a new one, we're going to fix the old one. And then we've added a couple drop shafts that are in need of rehabilitation as well. A1 and D1 located at 52nd and D1 located at 50th. All this work goes to the Thrive outcome of stewardship. Our financial resources will be invested efficiently and effectively. We'll maintain and restore system capacity and protect and enhance the region's natural resources. Now I want to say a few words about the temporary conveyance system. Because we're going to a rehab project, we're going to have to manage all the flow through this area, through the work area. So because we got the two shafts on the south end, we got the bulk of the work on the north end, this system's going to extend probably 1.5 miles. It's going to have to carry a lot of flow. It's going to have to be very robust and redundant. This image shows you the extents of the system from 52nd all the way up to Minnehaha Parkway, and I guess it's to the east from the west side of 55 all the way over to where you see manhole 8. The pipes will be, the blue line being 3 24-inch diameter polyethylene lines, and the pink line will be 3 36-inch diameter polyethylene line. These will be routed overland, street crossings where the soil isn't disturbed, we can do it buried. But again, it's going to be a pretty big footprint, and they'll be a nuisance to the public. Will affect the park use, will affect traffic, there might be odor issues, noise issues. We'll try to minimize that, of course. We'll provide for odor control, and we'll have to work through all those issues. This is an image. This is a composite image. It's where we superimpose the proposed system onto a photograph. And it looks almost like that wasn't the case. It's fairly realistic. So the black pipes are the temporary conveyance polyethylene pipe, and there's a Jersey barrier to protect it and keep it in place. Next image is a shot, I believe it's at 52nd. And this photograph is real, but we superimposed the pumps. Those are the blue boxes you see in the street right away. And this is kind of the impact we're talking about. And this is another shot of that same area. You see the pumps in the background, light rail to the left, the catenaries for the light rail, and the 3 24-inch diameter polyethylene pipes running down the street.
So, Madam Chair, members of the council, because of the extent of this project and also because of the change in this project, staff has prepared a draft communications plan. Now, we are working with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency to determine whether or not this construction project is exempt under the Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. When we originally, under the original concept with the impact to Coldwater Spring, it would have required a consultation process under the 106 Act, but now that we've revised it, we believe that the project is exempt. The project team is in the process of completing the facility plan and will be submitting the documentation to the MPCA this week, and then we'll get a determination from them shortly thereafter. Now, even though the project may be exempt from the Section 106 process, we plan to conduct a very robust communication and outreach program because, as you can see, the impacts related to this project on a temporary basis are quite significant to the South Minneapolis area. So we have formal opportunities that we've already scheduled to discuss the project with the public this spring. For example, we have a presentation to the Mendota Mid-Wahpeton Dakota tribal community on Sunday, March 25th. And all this information will be provided to you. We have a presentation to the Longfellow Community Council, April 4th. We have a presentation to the Nokomis East Neighborhood Association, April 4th, and then we'll also have a large public meeting in late April. All of those meetings will occur in the late afternoon or early evening, with the exception of the Mendota Mid-Wahpeton Dakota tribal community has asked us to meet with them in the afternoon. So again, that information will be provided to you. So again, you'll see up at the screen, we have a phase 1 regulatory process that we're in the process of completing. Once we get that determination, then we will send out an update letter to our stakeholders, hold our public information meeting. We're updating our website as we speak, and then begin our presentations to our neighborhood associations and also meetings with stakeholders, because again, oftentimes we have public meetings and then there needs to be one-on-one conversations with business owners or representatives of the communities to work through any issues that they have concerns about. Again, once we get into construction, we have a communication plan where we do periodic construction updates, on-site meetings with key stakeholders, website and social media updates, project hotline and emails. Again, if the council members are ever interested in signing up for our project emails, we can certainly do that for you if you have a particular interest in one of our projects. We have site signs, presentations to neighborhood meetings or neighborhood organizations. We do door hangers when service is interrupted to a residence or business. And again, we have news releases. So we have a very robust communication program associated with our capital program. And with that, I think we're asking that the council authorize the public hearing for the proposed amendment to the facility plan for the Minneapolis Interceptor Rehabilitation Project, Phase 2, project number 8076.
Are there any questions?
Councilmember
Not about the
Melander.
project, just about the, you know, and I know that we always make reference to the districts, but very broad. So you've got Cunningham, Dorfman, Kramer, and Commerce. So they're at a point where they all kind of have a little piece of it?
Yes, that's correct.
Great.
And Madam Chair, members of the council, we will be reaching out to the council members as well to just have a brief conversation with them if they want a one-on-one, or so that they're informed as well.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Councilmember Schreiber.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sure this will come up often in your public hearings. Just for my personal edification, will probably be interruption of service somehow to the residences and the property owners. Is that-
Madam Chair, committee members, we do not plan to interrupt service.
Okay. All right.
We're picking up the flow wherever it enters the existing interceptor. And we're picking it up at the upstream end and conveying it to the downstream end beyond the work area. So there should be no disruptions. There'll be inconvenience because of traffic and appearance and eyesores and
Right.
maybe a little odor, which we hope to mitigate and manage.
Okay, thank you. Good answer.
Any other questions?
I think one question would be the pumps. Are they going to create a noise issue?
Madam Chair, we propose to use electric-driven pumps with utility power. There'll be backup or standby generator sets in the event we lose utility power. It's similar to what we do for our own permanent pumping stations. These generator sets will have to be exercised and run periodically. We want to make sure they'll work when they're called for and gain that confidence. That's basically it. Yeah.
I have a question. It says construction runs from 2019 to 2022, which is a pretty long time. Is the temporary conveyance system going to be there that whole time for 3 years?
Madam Chair, I anticipate the temporary conveyance being there at least 2.5 years. It might not be the full length and breadth of the area I showed, and may be altered a little bit as work gets accomplished, short, I should say. But that's why I want utility power. We want the redundant barrels, called for 3 24-inch on the south end. We only really need 2. We want that extra one in case someone pokes a hole in one of them. We have to switch the flow. Regarding that, we'll have 24/7 monitoring of the facilities and try to head off any vandalism that might occur.
That sounds like a really good idea, because if people don't realize what they are and go, oh, this would be fun to see what's in here, that could be a
Madam Chair,
big mess.
we've seen it happen. Someone took, I think it was in White Bear Lake, someone took one of those handheld electric battery-driven drills and thought it'd be great to drill a hole in.
Ooh. Yeah, that
We
would be
found it
nasty.
pretty quick. It does happen.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other questions, we would need a motion.
So moved.
Second, Madam Chair.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we have you up again for the next one, Mr. Dents. 2018-71 Construction Contract Award for Golden Valley Interceptor Rehabilitation.
Madam Chair, committee members, this business item requests council authorization for the regional administrator to award and execute a contract for construction of the Golden Valley Interceptor Rehabilitation, project number 805740, contract 17P064 with Minger Construction Company Incorporated for their low, responsive, and responsible bid of $4,094,731.75. Now, this project has 3 sites, and I'll just go over them quickly. Site 1 is at Natchez Avenue. There's 650 feet of 36-inch pipe that needs to be lined. Site 2 is at Toledo Avenue. Here we have a combination of activities going on. There's an 800-foot section of Interceptor that needs to be replaced or rehabilitated near Toledo and Greenview Lane. There's 24-inch pipe and 30-inch pipe that'll be replaced, open cut, and 24-inch and 27-inch pipe that'll get cured in place, pipeline. Site 3 is in Hidden Lakes Parkway, and this is near Courage Center, doing, I think it's the Neurological Center and the Courage Center. It crosses the road there, or the driveway, where approximately 120-foot section of 36-inch pipe will be replaced using tunneling methods. The reason for the open cut is because we have a belly in the pipe. Sag, it's an operational issue. It's so bad that for the 30-inch pipe, it goes underwater. Usually you have a free water, you don't have it. So it collects solids and becomes an operational issue. To summarize the bid, we received 5 responsible bids. They range from $4,094,731.75 to $5,570,278.35. Minger Construction Company Incorporated submitted the low bid, which happened to be below the engineer's estimate of $4,691,384. And then we had a goal, an MCUP goal of 6%, and it was determined by the Equal Opportunity Office that Minger met that goal. And again, the Thrive Lens analysis, Thrive Outcome of Stewardship, and we want to use financial resources in effective and efficient ways to maintain and restore existing water infrastructure and protect our natural resources. And lastly, the proposed action behind is that the council authorize the regional administrator to award and execute a contract for construction of the Golden Valley Interceptor Rehabilitation, project number 805740, contract 17P064, with Minger Construction Company Incorporated for their low responsible bid of $4,094,731.75. And I'd gladly answer any questions you have.
Councilmember McCarthy.
Madam Chair, did I miss something? Because it says here that Minger Construction Company bidded $4,691,000, but yet.
That's exactly how I read it.
I just noticed that myself.
Okay. So that's incorrect?
I think the business item is correct.
Okay.
Presentation's wrong.
Okay.
I think that's the engineer's estimate.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what but that's how I read it too. I was going to ask the question. I read it again. Went up, because I put my
Madam Chair,
many
thanks.
times.
Thanks for catching me on.
Okay, let me make sure I understand here. So we're accepting a bid for $4 million $94,731.75.
Yep.
And the engineer's estimate was 4.6 million and some.
Hang on a minute. I think it's correct.
No, I think it is too.
Yeah. You're saying that's the engineer's estimated bid, not Minger's bid.
4,691,384 is the engineer's
Yeah.
estimate.
Yeah.
And the bid is
94,000. So I
731.
think everything's correct.
Okay. Good. Councilmember Reynoso.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Putting a lining in does away with the belly?
Madam Chair, no.
Just
I wish it did.
give me ideas.
I wish I could do that.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
Then we would need a motion.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Dents.
much.
Next up is the information item, wastewater reuse related alternative policy amendments to the Water Resources Policy Plan update. Could you make that even more of a tongue twister?
I know. Madam Chair and members of the council, I'm just here to give you a brief update on our wastewater reuse policy amendments. Again, here is the amendments that you saw. We had three alternatives. The first alternative being no regional cost share. The second alternative being a regional cost share based on regional environmental and economic benefits. And then the third concept being a regional cost share based on regional wastewater system benefits only. And of course, in the policy amendments, it also memorializes the institutional relationships that would need to be put in place in order for us to proceed with a wastewater reuse project. We've taken these policy amendments out to 2 workshops, and we had a public hearing that just was held just prior to this meeting today. We had a workshop in Inver Grove Heights on February 27th. We had about 10 participants in that workshop. We had another workshop in Brooklyn Park on March 1st. We had about 5 members of the public. We had some council members that attended the workshop. Councilmember Shriver was there, and we had some other, Sandy Rummel was there as well. So we had some members from the council attending our workshops, and then just at our public hearing, we had about 26 folks that were at the public hearing, and about 6 people spoke. So we had a pretty robust public hearing session just a few minutes before the meeting. So our next steps in our wastewater reuse policy plan is the public hearing comment period closes on March 23rd at 5 p.m. After the closure of the public hearing, the staff will summarize the comments and submit those to the Environment Committee. We're scheduled to do that on April 10th. And we hope to at that point be able to provide you a recommended alternative. The Environment Committee would consider the comments as well as the policy language. We're scheduled to be on the committee meeting on April 24th, and then we'd ask that the council take action on May 9th. So with that, if there's any questions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All we have left is the general manager's report.
Well, I'll be brief. Earlier today, I signed a letter submitting our 2017 compliance record. And we had 7 of our 8 plants with perfect compliance in 2017. And 6 of the facilities that were platinum recipients last year for more than 5 years are going to get it for another year. So staff will be relieved that they have kept their platinum record going. And so then we have 1 other facility that had perfect compliance, and then our East Bethel, we're still having some challenges with our disinfection process. It's much lower flow than what the plant was designed for. So occasionally we're learning some things about that challenge and working to perfect and figure out how to make it always be in compliance, which is our goal.
Councilmember McCarthy?
So what's the process like in East Bethel when it's not in compliance? Do they give you a certain period of time to fix what we need to fix, or how does that work?
Soon as we become aware of not being within the discharge requirement, we remedy that and take action. And because it's a disinfection process, if the routine one isn't performing, there's other things we can do to get it to meet the compliance going forward. But each time we do a root cause to figure out how did we end up in that boat, and what do we need to do to make it not happen again that way.
So there's no danger to the public or anything?
Yeah.
No, it's actually, so with the groundwater recharge, it's a much lower chlorination or disinfection level than what our other facilities are, which is appropriate because it's more of a reuse facility. That combined with the fact that the flows are as low as they are makes it a little bit challenging at times to keep it within the limit that we've been trying to operate to. But staff are looking closely at it. I know we're going to be able to figure this out and get that on our record like our rest of our facilities have been.
Councilmember McCarthy?
I'm also curious with that one in particular, East Bethel. So is what percentage of that plant is not being used at its full capacity?
That's a question I would not have off the top of my head. Not sure if we can answer it exactly how you asked it, but I think we might have somebody, staff, that could reflect a little bit in terms of unused capacity at that facility. Thank you.
Madam Chair and council members, I think the flow right now is about 10% of the average design flow. It is increasing. Let me add that. It is increasing.
Thank you. Councilmember Reynoso?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I know East Bethel is looking to add some more housing, and you know, obviously, our long-term potential is there, and it's only built. I think there are 3 phases originally that was planned, so we're just in phase 1 still. So, but someday, somehow, you know, looking at the region, the area up there, it would be fantastic to continue to add. But it's a very political subject up there, and it was certainly in my district, which is East Bethel. If I even mentioned hooking up in Ham Lake, it would not be good news. So.
Thank you. Was that all of your
That's
report?
all I have today.
Okay, well, there being no further business come for us, the meeting is adjourned.